Hey guys, how you doing? So we are here for a message in divine time for whoever needs it. It catches you when it is meant to catch you. It is a part of the Timeless Messages playlist. So if you feel like you want some more, you can go find any reading there in divine time, and I'm sure it'll meet you with gratitude. So we are going to pull some pineapple charms, and we are going to roll the astro dice. Now, pineapple charming, for you guys who are unaware of pineapple charming. Okay. Pineapple charming has thousands, thousands of charms in there, and it's to help you discern. Okay. So if you feel like you were guided to this message is meant for you and you want to skip forward in the replay, there will be timestamps in the description. You could just trust your discernment. If the reading was meant for you, it's meant for you, and you could skip right to the reading. The charms and the astro dice given, there are sometimes messages in there in and of themselves, but they are to help those who are working on their discernment. If one or more charms stand out to you, resonate with you, make sense to you, then there is most likely a message in here for you, whether it is just one thing I say that clicks and you're like, that's why Spirit had me watch the message, or if it's the message in its entirety, right? Either way it goes. So trust your discernment. If that is the way, you could fast forward to the message once the live is over, and or you could listen to the charms, right? So I already gave Pineapple Charming a really good shake off camera because he's loud. He's loud. And we're just going to see who might need this message today. All right, that feels good. Thank you, Charming. It's always a pleasure. We have 1111. We also have a tequila bottle. So it might be your poison of choice or someone that, this reading is about. We also have Crazy Plant Lady, our Crazy Plant Lady charm. We have some measuring instruments. So mathematics, you might be just measuring things lately, doing some do-it-yourself stuff. We've also got a hatchet. So maybe you've been out by the logs. Maybe could also be like firefighter, right? Like an emergency hatchet to get through things. We've got our needle, like a needle and thread. Sewing. We have a Dalmatian. So you could have a fur baby, especially if it's a Dalmatian. We've also got some long clothing scissors. So you may be cutting a thread, right? Cutting a cord between those two charms. We also have the Masquerade Mask, as well as, I believe that is the throat chakra. Okay, we've got a throat chakra charm. You might be working on that. I've got a motorcycle here. I also have a mermaid, which I always connect to Piscean energy, but details. You might be getting mermaid synchronicities. They could be popping up on your feed. We have a deer synchronicities, and we've got a button. So maybe you are closing a cycle for sure. We've got 3 different like seamstress kind of charms. And we have a rabbit, a white rabbit. So maybe you have found yourself going down quite a rabbit hole. Okay. And or you're just getting rabbit synchronicities, especially if they've been showing up in your backyard or things like that. We have micro playing cards. It is the Joker and the 9 of Diamonds, which is the Fool card, and the 9 of Pentacles. So this is a total journey, leap of faith on sovereignty, okay, and being in your own energy and not a place where other people's choices or other people's moods are affecting your own, right? Sovereignty means it doesn't really matter what is going on around you. You're in control of your own feelings and your own choices, right? You're still dictating your own path. Sign beads, I've got Aquarius. I've got Taurus. And I've got Sag. So they could be in your big three, or you just may have a significant placement in one of those signs, because we do also have the mermaid out here, which is Pisces. It could be your 12th house ruler as well. Letters, I've got Y, T, and F. You might be asking yourself, why twin flame journey? So on a real note, we've also got TY, which is short for thank you. So if they are not initials of yours or someone that you know, right, T, Y, or F, or if they're not, synchronicities to where you live or even your profession, you could be looking to find gratitude for a twin flame journey. Okay, we're going to put them to the side. And we're going to roll our astro dice. Spirit, please. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? Hey, Kristen. Grand Rising. We've got Scorpio, North Node, and the 8th house. So double Scorpio with the 8th house. And the sign itself, you may have your nodes in Scorpio and Taurus. You might have them in the 8th house and 2nd house, right? That could just be a polarity that you are working with and or through as of right now. Whenever we deal with 8th house stuff, it is what we inherit from other people. This could be anything from money to karma, right? And different lessons that we've inherited from our families and different people that we've had in our lives and things like that. So Scorpio, 8th house, and North Node. And I would pay special attention to your 2nd house as well, okay, because of that polarity with the nodes. So Scorpio, Taurus nodes, 8th house, 2nd house nodes. All right, timestamp. Got it. Okay. Let's see what is going on. I've got quite a few decks, so buckle up. Hey, Kiki Law, how you guys doing? Oh, I meant to say too, guys, if you have your own channel and you're a reader and things like that, like drop it in the comments section and put it out there, because you never know who might be guided to you, and we're all in this together. So, don't feel weird, especially with this live, putting your channel in the comments. Okay, I'll drop a sub for you if you do. We are all in the same soul family here on the same mission. So we're going to start with Harrow and my hand-drawn cards, my Divine Conversations deck, and then I have another deck that I have not really used on the channel because Spirit guided me to it. So we're going to go with that and see where we are at before we get into Rider Waite, and then I got a few guidance decks as well. So Spirit, who is the subject of the reading? Who is the subject of the reading? What do we need to know? All right, so we've got the Tyrant, and we've got the Mute Hag. Bottom of the deck is the Idiot. That's literally the name of the card, okay? I'm not calling anybody an idiot, but that is the vibe. Let's get a little more insight into that, please. Archetypal energy of the Tyrant. We've got the Mushroom. Okay, that's interesting. Clarify the Mute Hag further. What is the archetypal energy of the Mute Hag? We got the Eclipsed Sun and the Scissors in the reverse with the Mirror. All right, we got that Mirror. So these two people, they are in each other's lives for a reason. They are mirroring each other, which means the energy they have is technically shared. Okay, it's shared. let's pull the divine conversation. What conversation spirit wants to have with each of these individuals. Let's do the tyrant. Okay. You are wasting your money, spending it on the wrong things. Help yourself. Pay off your debts and save. Okay. And clarify further the divine conversation with the mute hag, please. What conversation is spirit having with them? You don't realize how distracted you are. When is the last time you checked in with what your soul wants to heal or improve? Sovereignty. Literally the word in green in the background on the card. Hey Lala, how you doing? All right. Bottom of the deck, your fear is stalling your progress. Just say it. You've got nothing of value to lose. Green light. Okay. Okay. Overall energy. Let me read to you what that idiot card means, because honestly, it's a facet of ignorance, which is within our control. The idiot is a neutral evil aligned card. It's a card of grave foolishness and greed. It can mean bribery, blackmail, or naivete so grand it can see no evil. The goblins have captured a foolhardy man, representing the knowledge that loss of dignity can precede the loss of life. Okay, feeling like, we have nothing to live for. Hey, Tanya, how you doing? And the Rakshasa is under that. Ugh. Okay. So these two people, if it's not, you in the reading, and it's not you in the reading, then obviously Spirit is giving you insight. But I would definitely take it from an eye of what if, just in case. Because you never really know unless you check in with yourself really deep what the actual deal is. So whether it is two people kind of bribing each other to get what they want, or blackmailing each other, well, you have to do what I want, or I'm going to do this, and if you do this to me, then I'm going to do that to you, or I'm going to hold this against you, right? Use it against you. Or naivete so grand that they don't even see the evil that's going on, right? They don't see the shadow or the misalignment in their energy that is going on. So off the bat, I feel like regardless of how far you think you are on the spiritual journey, there is definitely some kind of ignorance at play here when it comes to being connected to your own divinity, right? The tyrant. We'll get into the first energy first, because this is the mirror, right? At the end of the day, these two people are using each other in shadow and don't even realize how misaligned they really are. And it's fear-based, right? Especially with this overlying card where spirit is giving you the green light to tune in, and there's just this big stall, right? There's this big stall of energy because of fear. And it could be fear of anything. It could be as simple as a fear of finances. It could be a fear of being alone. It could be a fear of being judged by other people. It could be a fear of not being good enough. It could be a fear of abandonment. It could be a fear of many things, right? Many things. So whatever the fear is, this is where you really have to dig deep within yourself and say, why am I connected to this person? Especially if it doesn't feel good to deal with them. Like, what is the fear at play that is keeping me in alignment with them in my mirror? Because as soon as I let the fear go, I'll be able to let the mirror go. But I have to identify what the fear is in order to consciously choose to let it go, because otherwise it's riding in the subconscious, right? And it's probably something that you inherited, right? A fear, because we had the scorpionic energy on the dice. It is destined for you to transmute it, right? North node, destined for you to transmute whatever it is that you inherited. So this is a fear that you were taught, and it's probably very deeply embedded in yourself as, what you are supposed to do, or what life is supposed to look like, or how partners are supposed to interact with each other, or, even a disbelief that, this is how life is. This is, the shit of life, and life is shitty. And it's that belief that you inherited, that you can't change people. You just got to deal with it, tolerate it, put up with it. You can't improve. It could be substance related, right? Because we had the liquor bottle, and the charms. What are you attached to? What are you attached to? Because if this is not two people, this energy here could most definitely be the addiction, right? The distraction. Not checking in with what needs to heal. It's what's keeping you sovereign, or keeping you from being sovereign, right? The eclipsing of your light that you've refused to cut out. So if this is not a person, it could be an addiction as well. And that addiction can be anything from substances to belief systems. So let's get into the Tyrant. It's a charisma-based card. The Tyrant is lawful evil. Okay. It's lawful evil. The Tyrant indicates a ruler who is a blight upon those ruled. The dragon might indicate a monarch, overseer, or head of household. Whoever this person is, they do harm to those over who they hold sway, whether they realize it or not. Whether they realize it or not. Whenever we get the Tyrant, this is someone who is controlling. They're trying to force a specific outcome. They're trying to force a specific reality. And they don't realize what damage they're doing, right? When we're dealing with the mushroom archetype could be a lot of things, like what might be healing medicine for one person, where someone might need that kind of control and direction and it's in alignment. It might be poison in another dynamic. Like when we deal with empaths and narcissists and how often they connect in this life, especially in the mirror, being an empath for a narcissist is like poison to the self, but being an empath for an empath would be medicine for the self. So it's the duality of what you're doing, and what you're doing might be the right thing for the wrong people, or what you're doing outright is the wrong thing with the right people. And so this is the reality check going on with the Tyrant. And Spirit, is paying mind to the fact that they're wasting their money, or they're spending it on all the wrong things or all the wrong people. They really need to focus on themselves. And there's some kind of fear state keeping whoever this is in stagnation, right? The stalling of the progress based on that fear. So the Mute Hag. The Mute Hag is neutral evil. The Mute Hag might be silent, but the eye she holds lets her see into the hearts of men. This hag invokes blood pacts and poisonous secrets, the kind that turn brother against brother and son against father. It is a card that performers loathe, as it leaves them stumbling over their words and songs. I feel if this is an actual person, this is a feminine energy who is obviously just as in control as this person, right? Because they're in each other's mirror. So this person is extremely controlling. They are eclipsing the light of the first person because they themselves have eclipsed out their own light. They are not acting from a place of authenticity. This person has the light out in their eyes, right? There's no light in the eyes. And I feel like they're speaking what their third eye or spiritual eye is seeing. So this is genuinely a mirror, right? Whoever or whatever the second energy is, they're projecting. You don't realize how distracted you are, especially if this person is complaining, like you're always distracted, you're always letting things bother you. You're not getting things done. You're not cutting off people you need to cut off. This person's toxic. Like this is all the kind of stuff that person number one could be saying to person number two, not realizing that who person number two is in their mirror, because that's the conversation they're having on a spiritual level with their higher self. right? They are distracted with this person. They haven't checked in with what their soul really wants to do to heal or improve. They haven't cut off their inability to, to heal. Like their inability to heal is in the way. Whatever they have, vices, things like that, like it's in the way. I feel with these two people, unless they're, like I said, tuning into tarot or tuning into messages like this, they're going to stagnate, right? Because they're going to meet each other at an impasse until it gets so toxic that it either ends in a bad way, right? It either ends in a bad way, because right now it is a loss of dignity, right? It's almost embarrassing that they're living out this experience the way they are together. It's embarrassing. There's that loss of dignity. But it could precede, quote unquote loss of life, which could be literal or metaphorical. If someone is diving into their vices and they're drinking a whole lot, right, that liquor bottle, it's detrimental to their health. It could ultimately end up costing them this lifetime. They would have to reincarnate because they're driving their body into the ground, quite literally, and it could also be, death in the ego sense, where someone has to get seriously humbled, right? Because right now, whatever they're doing, it's really foolish, right? It's super foolish. Whoever this person is making a fool out of them. Whoever this person is getting between them and healthy relationships, including relationships with their children, including relationships with their soul family. This person is a distraction to this individual, and this individual is probably afraid financially of the ramifications of leaving this person, right? They're blackmailing each other or bribing each other to, make things happen a certain way, but they're both feeding into each other's shadow. So let's I'm going to get into the tarot in just a second, but I want to pull from this deck. This is a deck that I was guided to make. It's got masculine attributes on one and feminine attributes on the other. So actions versus feelings. And we're just going to see where spirit has it. So give us some insight into the tyrant, please. What is going on with them? What actions or feelings are they going through at this time? Lusting or longing for sex, love, money, power, status, or title. Wanting it all now and needing to slow down. What about what everyone else wants or needs? They're on an ego trip, right? They're on an ego trip. This is their feminine energy. They feel like they need it all and they want it all, and they're only considering themselves. They're not considering anybody else. They're in it for whatever reasons they're in it for. Maybe they're lusting after this person. Maybe there's a real chemistry between them, right? A sexual energy between them. Maybe it is money and power. Maybe they like feeling in control. Maybe they are the head of household. Maybe they like having that power. Maybe they do have a title with this person, like husband or wife or whatever, and they want everything that they want, but they're not considering what everybody else needs. They're on a major ego trip. There's too much stress in your environment and all you want is peace. That is also a feminine energy card. So they're feeling the stress. All they want is peace, but they're not getting it with this person because this person's in their mirror and they are not at peace, right? They are not at peace at all. Hey, Namira, how you doing? And then we've got emotional competition isn't healthy. Focus on the joy and abundance of the love you share. So this person may be an emotional competition with the other person. Like, oh, you could take this and you could take that and feel at peace, but I can't, like you're taking time to relax and I can't. I'm working harder than you, right? This is a competition. Well, if I can do this and this and that, then why can't you do this and this and that? Like that's not fair. Hey, Christina, how you doing? And so, this person is competing. This person is competing with the mute hag for peace. Obviously, the mute hag is willing to sacrifice the tyrant's peace for their own, and vice versa, right? And vice versa. Let's get some more insight into the mute hag. Ooh, those cards came right out. Feeling out of place or not yourself because you're stuck in a comfort zone. So this person, whomever they are, or if it is, that addiction energy, it is out of place. This is just stuck in what's familiar. So they're in it because it's familiar. They're probably afraid of change. They probably don't know how to improve or even consider a healing process. This is just what's familiar. It's what they were taught, right? Sabotaging energies that they were taught or inherited in their growing up. And they know that this is not where they belong, but they're sticking around anyway. Feeling owed an apology when you need to forgive yourself. Ego blocked. So this person is on an ego trip, and this person is on an ego block, and they're in each other's mirror. So feeling owed an apology. So they feel like this person owes them. So if this person in the past maybe betrayed this person, they're in it and they're sticking with it because they feel owed. They feel entitled to this person's suffering. They feel entitled to this person's suffering. When this person suffers, they are more at peace. So you can see the dynamic here, right? You can see the dynamic here. This person needs to forgive themselves for maybe acting out of ego to begin with, because now who they are in their light is completely blocked out. Learning what emotionally balanced and healthy dynamics look and feel like. So this person is learning. They have not chosen to cut this cord. But I think if the scissors are out in the charms and the scissors are out here, at some point, this person might decide that this is not the place for them. They just haven't come to that conclusion or realization yet, but they're learning what a balanced or healthy relationship looks like. And that is why this very unhealthy person is in their reality, and vice versa, right? Because what this person is learning, this person is also learning. And they're afraid, right? They're afraid of losing what the other is giving. Even through the toxicity, right? The fear is keeping them here. They say, this is the top of the deck. It says, they say love is all you need. Well, then I guess you have it all. Feeling emotionally full. And that is the goal, right? Being on top of the deck, like that is the goal. These people just want love. Love is all they need, but love can't exist in the same place as fear, right? Fear is disruptive. It is the opposite of love. So all they want is love. That's what they're after. They're after it with each other. But I don't feel like these two people are necessarily aligned, right? Bottom of the deck, underneath it all, it says feeling defeated, like a battle was lost. Why is or was it so important to be right? These two are fighting a losing battle and they feel the defeat, but they don't understand why it's so important for them to be right. This person is with this person because they want to feel right. And this person is with this person because they want to feel right. But it's everything but that. And neither one of them can admit it. Neither one of them can admit it. Yeah, sometimes you just do need a fresh start, Lala. God knows, talking to me like I've given myself multiple fresh starts. Have not regretted one since, right? Have not regretted one since. So I feel, with these two people, they are in a wildly unfortunate circumstance with each other. And I know, like, knowing spirit, if the healing is the healing, like, it is going to come to an end at some point. It's just, how far do they want to take it? Do they want to abuse substances or, deteriorate their bodies via stress and ruin their health? sticking it out as long as possible until they literally can't anymore, because Spirit's like, okay, time's up. You know, like it doesn't have to go that far. You know, like, yeah, is death a release of certain prisons? Of course it is. But it is not the answer. It is a last resort. It is a very last resort. You know, it's not something that we should be choosing as an out, because the healing is still the healing. Like, you're still going to have to come back and learn it again. Like, it's not really, it's not a solution. It's a reset, you know? So let's see what is going on here, and then we're going to pull some guidance cards. Spirit, what is going on with these two? Insight into the energy. What does the dynamic look like between these two? What is going on? We've got the Hierophant, so they may be in a committed relationship, if not married, because that's the first card out. There definitely could be financial ties. It's Taurean energy, and that came out in the charms. We've got the Three of Cups. It's most definitely karmic, and or there is a third energy involved, and that could include addictions, right? It could be the two of them both dealing with addictions. I feel like there was at some point like a honeymoon phase, right, where they got together and everything was super happy, and it turned into burden. It turned into them carrying each other's spiritual crosses as heavy. And now they're holding on, right? They're clinging. They're clinging with the Four of Pentacles. This is mine, right? You are mine. I am yours. Like, they're clinging to this idea that they're in it, but they're sad as fuck. Look, that Three of Cups, that honeymoon phase where they were so excited to be together, like, those cups are spilled. The blood's gone bad between them. Let's get some clarity on that. So they might have come together to begin with. They might have committed to each other or married, literally or metaphorically, to escape different realities that they were living in. They might have chosen each other as a way out. You know, well, let's go into this together, and I'll escape this horrible reality, and you can escape your horrible reality, right? They both went into it trying to escape their healing. They went into it trying to escape their healing. Clarify the Three of Coins, or the Three of Coins, the Three of Cups, please. The Strength card. Spirit set them up to be humbled. That's the ego right there, right? The divine feminine quieting the mouth of the lion, right? Their egos, which made a very, very big deal, you know, being seen in the previous cards, like they had ego trip problems. Their ego was getting in the way. Yeah, their stress, the obligations that the two of them put themselves under, it's completely stagnant. It's super slow progress, if any at all. Clarify the Four of Pentacles, please. The Hanged Man. Yeah, they're holding on to this reality and it's spiritual stagnation. That's double stagnation right there. Five of Cups, please. Clarify the Five of Cups, please. Yeah, it's one-way energy. I also got two more. I think they're both looking at the future and wanting victory. But I feel like someone has to take the first step towards that victory. Someone has to take the first step. Because if neither of them take a step, there is no victory. We got the Lover's card on the bottom. So yeah, this is a high soul contract, catalytic, right? Catalytic contract. We got Gemini energy on the bottom. We got the High Priestess here. Someone could have strong Piscean energy in their chart, but it's all about listening to the intuition. Both of these people, if they're in their ego and they're in this place of needing to control it, wanting to control it, then they're really not listening to their intuition at all, are they? Because the ego will override what the intuition is saying. The ego and the mind will override what a person is feeling. Like, yeah, this feels like shit, but I'm going to stick it out and make it work because I'm afraid of this or I'm afraid of that. And I'll do whatever I have to do to not do this or not do that. Right? Instead of taking the loss before the loss becomes even greater. They feel like they're pouring into each other. Both of them feel like they're pouring into each other, but they're pouring into cups that have holes in them. Everything they give is just not sticking. Or it's not even being seen. There's no gratitude for what they're doing, right? There's no compassion or mercy. Both of these people, right, as we talked about, were really hung up on the other person's suffering in order to feel better. Well, I don't feel good unless you're suffering for me. They're both spiritually lazy, right? They're both spiritually lazy. And so it's projecting back and forth between the two of them. They're not seeing reality clearly, right? With that mushroom card out there for the tyrant, like they are not seeing clearly. Like mushrooms could also be hallucinogenics. It's not just about medicine and poison. Like this person in some kind of crazy reality, distorted reality, it's not real. It's not real. And they might have a serious addiction to this fantasy that they think they're building, not even realizing like there is no end game. It's literally just a mirror. And a very, very toxic one, right? A very unhealthy one. And it stems from what they learned, right? It stems from what they learned from their parents. About what is or isn't acceptable in relationships. If their parents had toxic relationships or multiple toxic relationships, like they could be fighting it and trying to make it work because, you know, maybe they don't want to end up in divorce like their parents did. But at the same time, that's not necessarily the answer. You know, sometimes divorce, unfortunately, is necessary because we realize we got involved in relationships that were for our healing and not for our long-term highest good. It was a stepping stone to get there. Let's pull some guidance. I've got 3 different decks. I've got the Magical Spirit Oracle by Alexis Racken. I've got the White Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And Rumi. So we're going to pull from each of these. And then once I get all the cards out, I'll read them. All right. So Spirit, what is the guidance, please, for these two or the viewer, right? Whoever needs this guidance in divine time. What is the guidance, please? Yeah, you're trying to settle before court. Yeah. You're in a court matter too, Lala? I know there's at least three or four people somewhere in the court cycle right now that follow me. What is the guidance, please, Spirit? The Shaman. The Shaman. All right. from the White Light Oracle. Spirit, please, what is the guidance for those who need it in divine time? What card above all others? Oh, we got two. Theta of Venus and Deer of Delta. Cards 25 and 26. Right? 25, 26, and we got 30 here. And Rumi. What card above all others? Please, Spirit. Yeah. I feel that, Lala. And it's unfortunate when people don't, you know, like just handle things maturely and they try and make others look a certain way. We'll just remember trying is a bullshit word, right? The human gift. Card number 17. Okay. Let's read these. The Shaman. Lunatic, insights, cosmos, strangeness. The affirmation, I choose to listen and dance to the secret songs of the universe. The quote-unquote crazy, the shaman, the one who sees. Lunatic is a word derived from the Latin word luna, meaning moon. So a lunatic is one who is moonstruck. There is a face on the moon. Can you see it in the night, even when others cannot? This is the great paradox of the mystic. You hear the whispers that others cannot. You hear the secret songs of the universe. It's okay to be an outsider in a world of conformity and contempt, a world where those who are different are met with rejection from society, even if they are the shamans, the seekers and artists who point us to the way of truth, soul, transformation. The moon is beaming sacred truths, mysteries, and visions to the one who can receive them, the one who is open to them. Some people have a special gift of insight that is revealed to them during certain times. It is in the divine order of the cosmos for who they are chosen. Pulling the shaman card can be a call to embrace more of your quote-unquote crazy side, or to tune into it more at this time. You may be judged by others, but what you gain is far superior to their disapproval. The world needs more mystics and shamans to show us the soul of the world, to point us away from the suffocation of too much conformity, mundanity, and stagnation. The energy behind this card is that of dreams, ideas, and visions, especially spiritual and creative ones. Express, act on, create, and share what you are receiving from the mysterious. Harness your power of insight. Do not let it fade away and dim within you. In other words, use it or lose it. The more you do, the stronger it will become. Pay attention to which secret songs of the universe come to you at this time, and when you hear them, don't forget to dance. You can try staying up a bit later than you usually do, lighting a candle and seeing what comes through. Spending time in spiritual solitude will greatly enhance this time for you. Guided meditations that specifically open your third eye will also be beneficial. Right? The lunatic card, you know, it's one of my quotes. It's one of my quotes. Crazy is a word that people use to describe what they do not understand. Oh, they're crazy. Yeah, they say you're crazy because they don't understand you. Oh my God, that event, that was crazy, because they do not understand that event or how it could possibly end up transpiring. That happened. You know, crazy is a word that people use to describe things they don't understand. And that's okay. Like, people can call me crazy all day. That's fine. I understand me. I know it's not crazy. To me, it makes 1,000% sense. It makes so much sense. Others who call it crazy are destined to understand it. They are destined to understand it, right? Karma would have it. What we do not understand, we are meant to learn. So if someone is calling you crazy, they just simply don't understand you. And therefore, in the mirror of things, really don't understand themselves or why they're here either. So holding space, sending love and gratitude their way for their healing process so that they could figure it out sooner than later is the best that you could do, right? To us, people who are unhealed, like, that's crazy to us because we don't understand how they could just stagnate there and not choose in their highest good, right? It's crazy. How could you just go through life suffering? How could you just go through life hurting people? How could you just go through life in fear state and not want to change? Like, how is that okay? How is that okay? You know? Because we've been there. We've been there. The shamans, you know, the creatrix energy, the quote unquote witches, you know, like, they've gone through so many life cycles. You know, the intuitives, the psychics, the astrologists, they've gone through so many life cycles. Like, they've already been there and learned what stagnation does. That's why they are so adamant about healing and wisdom and an application of said wisdom and teaching others about it, which is why, you know, I had said at almost the very beginning of the live, like, if you have a channel and you read or you do astrology or something like that, like, drop your channel in the comment section. Share it out there, you know, like, I'm willing to give you a subscriber to it, you know, like, I'm willing to do that. We're all in this together. We're all supporting and healing each other together. We're all connected here. You don't know who might find your comment and be drawn, you know, like, it's not crazy or you're not inadequate for whatever reason. Like, you think that I feel like I'm less of an intuitive or less of a reader because I don't have as many subscribers as someone else? Like, I know I'm tuned in. I trust that. Just because your channel is smaller than mine doesn't mean that you're inadequate or less than. Just might mean you haven't truly been discovered yet. The world is still lining up to it. You know what I mean? I would rather have my 6,000 people that understand and apply the wisdom to their life and can take the advice and guidance and actually apply it than have 200,000 who just want to read trash tarot and finger point. You know what I mean? So I feel like whatever your path is, know that you are connected. Trust your insight. Trust your inner GPS and your guidance system. Trust your feelings. And if you do need to cut something off and start fresh somewhere, then I guess you need to cut something off and start fresh somewhere. It just is what it is. You know, maybe you need to have a divine conversation with somebody. Like, can we not lie to ourselves? Like, when we take all of the labels and the titles and the expectations away, like, do you really want this? Like, do you really want the responsibility of this relationship? Like, we're both in it for fear reasons, whatever the fear is, right? We were talking about, like, a fear of judgment or a fear of money or whatever. Like, can we maybe just trust? Like, God knows, when I was going through a custody battle with my ex-husband, right, my son's father, I didn't go after him for child support. I didn't. At first, the first time around I did. And it just caused so much fucking stress and so much obligation. My son hated going there, like, all of it. It was such a pain body until finally, like, we were at a moment in time where we had to go through it all again. And I was like, you know what? Let's just make it a clean cut divorce. I don't want anything from you. If you want to be involved in your son's life, that's up to you, how much you want to be involved and how much my son wants you involved. And if you don't want to pay child support, that's fine, because he's going to know you either did or didn't provide for him. He's going to know the truth. One day he's going to be old enough and realize that you were not around and you didn't partake or care about him in that way to make sure his needs were met. You didn't care about his mother, to making sure that she was okay, to take care of him since you weren't around or interested. Like, your relationship will be with him what it is. I'm not going to force it. And I cut it clean off. He accepted. And I had sole custody with no child support. Was it hard sometimes? Yeah, but was it hella more peaceful? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I wouldn't change that choice for anything. My son's all right. He's having breakthroughs with me on this journey. It's amazing, you know? His dad literally to me, he goes, I just want to feel like a single person again. And I was like, okay, that's what you want? All right. Go live your life single. Go live your life single. No strings attached. Go for it. Be that person. And I stopped. I just didn't fight it. I just was like, okay. And everything I needed was there along the way. Trust the flow of things. Your ego, their ego does not have to force a certain outcome or certain narrative. There is no shame in just accepting that this is what it is. Hell, there are some times where both people separate and neither of them want the kid. Neither of them want the obligation. And life transpires the way it's meant to transpire. Maybe that child ends up with grandparents, or maybe that child ends up with an aunt or uncle who genuinely cares about their well-being and is so much better off because they both stepped out of the equation because they were both toxic as fuck. That has happened too. Kids were raised by their grandparents. Or were literally put up for adoption because they were worse off. They would have been worse off with their parents. And that's a part of their journey. That's a part of their history. That's a part of their background. That's a part of the story, why they came into this life. We chose our path for a reason. But when we choose to heal, everybody heals. By default, they're all set on that path. Right? They're all set on that path. All right, getting into Theta of Venus and Deer of Delta. Theta of Venus. It says, attune yourself to higher consciousness by choosing to access the purest frequencies of love within. Acknowledge lower frequencies such as judgment, fear, doubt, or shame when they arise within or around you, but do not give them a foothold in your heart. You are ready for higher understanding, to see things in a new and more positive light. Allow your inner knowing to guide you on a unique, beautiful, and highly spiritual path. Venus is our morning and evening star, the stellar goddess and guardian of transitional awareness and higher consciousness of the heart. She is the way shower of light and fifth dimensional reality, also known as unity consciousness. Her spiritual guardianship of humanity will be complete when our mass consciousness is based on love, light, and divine feminine wisdom. When you connect with Venusian energy, it is an opportunity for increased love, magnetism, and spiritual charisma, a chance to shine your light and manifest your soul purpose with increased grace, synchronicity, and sacred artistry. Her appearance in a reading signifies a time of creative and spiritual awakening. It is a reminder of the power of the heart and our ability to rise again after a time of karmic heaviness. The souls of Venus, her sons and daughters upon the earth, are not spiritually bound by the mass consciousness of the human collective. They naturally vibrate at a more loving frequency. They can be genuinely astonished by the cruelness, meanness, and displays of dominance that typify the dark side of human nature. Yet, they have chosen to temporarily incarnate and bind their souls temporarily to the laws of nature. As they grow alongside their beloved earthly brothers and sisters, they share the higher resonance of their heart light, opening up the way for human evolution. The spiritual sons and daughters of Venus belong here. Yet, at an inner level, they know they are not from here. This oracle reminds you that you are not bound by the ways of this world, and that part of your higher purpose is to help heal, soften, and awaken humanity. Even if you find it hard to feel at home on Earth, perhaps sensing you are from the stars, Venus or otherwise, know you are meant to be here and that you belong in a very special way. There is a home for you here with the Mother Earth. You are loved and you are needed, and you will attract whatever support you require to fulfill your destiny. Venus souls have a particular talent for creating beauty, working with light and spiritual energy, and calling to them whatever they want and need. You have your own healing journey, and a part of that journey is your spiritual training in the ways of the earth at this time. It will teach you what is needed to heal yourself and others. You don't need to be afraid of the ways of the world. You are part of a spiritual team that is here to help transform the consciousness. Theta is the narrow range between 7 hertz and 8 hertz, which we access during deeper meditations and light sleep, including the dream state. The brain enters the state during the in-between times, such as when we are falling asleep or waking up from a deep sleep. These are moments in which our capacity to create our consciousness is heightened. And at these times, we become aware of deep-seated programming and are able to heal by reframing it. During this state, you are conscious, yet your body is deeply relaxed. You see everyday realities through the inner spiritual eye and come to understand yourself and your life with spiritual insight. Put simply, you may see things differently when you are in the theta state, and your life may make much more sense to you. In a reading, the appearance of this oracle is a special reassurance from Spirit that everything is unfolding within the protective grace of divine love, even if sometimes it appears not to be so. It also indicates that you have the power to heal yourself and change your life for the better. Venusian souls. Right, Taurus came out in the dice. Venusian souls might be very significant if you've got a Venus in Scorpio, or if your Venus trines on your first house or sextiles on your first house in some way, right? Positively aspects your first house, or your nodes, right? Especially your north node. You might have a really hard time, accepting that there is such cruelty in the world, such disconnect, right, from Spirit. You may be that shaman. You may be very tuned into the heart space, that divine feminine wisdom, where you intuit things and feel through things. And this is trusting that no matter what you choose, if you choose what feels right to you, everything that you need will come your way. Everything you need will always be there. You will never do without whatever it is that you need. Spirit reminds me of that all the time. All the time. It comes in when it's meant to come in. Money will show up. You will always have enough, one way or the other. Even if you're dealing with children and you aren't getting support or something like that from a partner, because a court order can be a court order, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there's fucking people out there who will just opt to not work, or they'll work under the table to spite you, and now you're connected to them and they still have visitation or rights, and it's like but but the financial aspect is missing, you know? And it's like you're dealing with the stress for what? Because you were afraid that you couldn't make it without child support? You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to let go. I've manifested jobs that made me a fuck ton of money. I've manifested donations out of the fucking blue. Sometimes a reading will come through, like a private reading via Etsy or otherwise, and I'll be like, thank God. Thank you, Spirit. Because that is so divinely timed. I'm glad we connected in that way. I don't need or want for anything. I decided I wasn't going to go back to doing a full-time corporate job and run myself into the fucking ground. My son got a job. He's the breadwinner as fuck right now. Am I still contributing? Yeah. But am I working myself into the fucking ground and stressing myself out for another employer? No. Everything is working out. You know, you just got to trust the process. Like, there's times where, yeah, you can go get food stamps and you can go get governmental support. So what? It's there. If you qualify, so what? I would rather do that than deal with the stress of a co-parent who is toxic as fuck and out to hurt me in any way they could possibly hurt me because they got a chip on their shoulder from life and are projecting it out and taking it out on me. Or even worse, my son. You know? Venus is conjunct Jupiter literally today. Literally today. Venus is conjunct Jupiter in Cancer right now. Powerful message for mothers, especially. Divine feminine energy, especially. To trust in faith. Trust that sense of the self, that intuitive sense. Trust your feelings. Trust your feelings. If you do not want to deal with somebody, you do not resonate with it at all, just don't be afraid. Don't let fear get in your way. Don't be afraid to use the scissors and cut the cord, and trust that spirit will catch you. Spirit will catch you. Every single time you follow your feel goods, you will not do without. You will not do without. Every time spirit will catch you. Every time. All right. Deer of Delta. Deer of Delta. Says, without any force, you can overcome even extreme negativities. Literally the first sentence. Without any force, you can overcome even extreme negativities. Your real nature is gentle, which is powerful in its own unique way. You do not need to become something you are not. You can confidently and effectively invoke spiritual protection from the light. You can never be dominated or bullied at a spiritual level because the real you is always empowered and protected in the light. Some things can only happen when we let go at the deepest inner level. Regenerative healing is one of them. Shamans of old understood that to obtain transformational awareness, one has to sever themselves from the world as one knows it, to unlearn what one once knew, and to be reborn. In that rebirth, a new understanding and vitality, clarity and purpose can emerge. The shamanic realm is the realm of the delta brainwave, the state of deep sleep. Here, one is completely unconscious. There is temporary paralysis at this level, which allows for the deepest healing and renewal. Here, the gateway to the universal mind is entered and the precious recalibrating treasures of healing are gained. In Delta, we surrender completely to a great and powerful intelligence far beyond our understanding. At 0 hertz to 4 hertz, delta waves are the slowest and most stabilizing of the brain waves. This is the state in which the body recovers from injury and the brain has a chance to check off its list of deferred repairs and healing and restore optimal function. This includes the capacity to learn and the healthy functioning of the immune system, physically and also emotionally, so we are not contaminated or confused by the emotional or psychic workings of the world around us. This oracle brings guidance that the healing you need cannot come from logical sources, but requires a deep letting go and restructuring from within. Consider what practices and people could help facilitate this process in your life. Consider how you may value and encourage deep restorative sleep and regular retreats as a part of your lifestyle. The Greek nymph, Hecate, called upon her beloved goddess Artemis to protect her from unwanted advances from a powerful suitor. In response, the goddess transformed Hecate into a doe, so she would be safe from harm. Hecate teaches us that we can become vulnerable like the gentle deer in the spiritual sanctuary of our devotion, protected by a greater source. Then, there is no need to become aggressive or harsh or defend ourselves from the aggression of another. We can let go and allow ourselves to be held. This is a way to ward off negativities without needing to disconnect from our softness and grace. Even if you are dealing with intense negativities from a particularly powerful opponent, Delta of Deer, or Deer of Delta, encourages you to call for spiritual intervention with complete confidence in the grace that will instantly and consistently be bestowed. Your strength and power can flow from your spiritual connection. If you have been advised to toughen up, you are encouraged instead. Remain true to yourself and find strength within. Allow yourself to be gentle with you. Allow spirit to guide you. We can choose the hard path. We can choose the fight. We can. These two obviously were doing it at the beginning of the read. But you caught it. You caught this message because you don't have to fight harder. You can just be gentle with yourself. You don't have to choose a road where you are fighting for 18 years, 20 years, 30 years. You can choose to be gentle with yourself now. You can choose to let go. You can choose to be new. You don't have to be what you were. The nymph became the doe. It became the deer. I am willing to be something else and be gentle with myself so that I don't have to go the route of fighting this opponent. And it was granted, right? Your guides, your guardians, your angels, your sources of spiritual power, they have your back. They have your back. Whether it's Archangel Michael or Goddess Hecate or Odin or whoever you believe in. Maybe you're into spirit animals, like call on wolf if that's your spirit animal. Call on your higher self. Call on your guides and guardians. Guide you to whatever is most gentle on your soul. You do not have to fight hard to prove anything. You can trust the choice you made, that it feels right for a reason. You know how many people called me crazy when I didn't go after my son's father in court for child support? You know how many people called me crazy, right? They didn't understand. I was like, I'm choosing my peace. I'm choosing my son's peace. So I did. Best choice ever. Best choice ever. Because now, even though my son is old enough to make his own choices, his father did not step up in such profound ways. I still don't have to deal with his father because my son has opted not to deal with him at all. Best choice I ever made. People choose their own path. My son's father could have chose any path he wanted. He could have chose to step up. He didn't. That's not my problem. It sounds like a him problem. Sounds like a him problem. I've lived at peace this whole time. So much more peace than I would have had if I were also dealing with him on top of other life stresses in the healing process, along the way. Like, I didn't need that on top of it. Choose what is in your highest good. Being gentle with yourself. Yeah, we deserve that. That part, we deserve peace. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Oh, Lala, I love that. I just caught up on your comment. Your middle name means morning star. I fucking love that. I love that. All right. Last guidance card, the human gift. Card number 17. The human gift. Oh, heart. What is your excuse for all these blunders? Such loyalty is offered by the beloved, yet so much treason comes from you. Such kindness is offered by the beloved, yet so much defiance and resistance comes from you. Such grace is offered by the beloved, yet so much fault and failure comes from you. Such attraction is offered by the beloved with sweetness and generosity, yet jealousy comes from you with so much doubt and suspicion. Rumi. Right? And that is the theme, right? That right there is the theme of this whole reading. The beloved, right? The divine, our higher self, our guides, guardians, God, source, creator, whatever you want to call it, is there with love all of the time, support all of the time. It is all of the lower vibrations that come from our human experience and our human minds and our egoic selves, right? Our attempts at control, our attempts at achieving what we were taught, right? What we were taught in this earthly human world that are so out of alignment with spirit. It's so out of alignment with spirit, right? This is reminding us, like, all of these excuses, like what excuse do we have not to be embraced by the divine, not to embrace that divinity within ourselves, that we can make those choices, that we could feel with our feminine and choose with our masculine in alignment. That's inner unity. That's unity consciousness, right? That Venusian energy. It's talking about the heart. It says, be kind to your heart. You may believe it to be weary from doubt and distrust, so much heartbreak and so many agonies, yet it still beats. Still it persists with unquestioning allegiance to life. What a grand heart it is, this sacred heart of yours. How can it be worthy of anything other than tenderness, gratitude, acknowledgement, and appreciation? Do not plague your heart with falsehoods and expectations of some disembodied perfection. The perfection of your heart is that it loves still. Even if you try to stop it with some notion of self-protection from future hurt through fear and doubt, it still loves. It is perfection, that it hopes even after despair, that it holds compassion even after experiences of fear. So then, what is there left to do but breathe the grandest sigh of relief and allow yourself the essential luxury of peace within? So then, everything is all right. Even if at some moments it seems not to be still, your heart beats in honor of life. The heart can be nurtured and coaxed into gentle acceptance of all that is, and the divine sight will become available to you. Yes, sacred sight is what is behind this oracle for you now, beloved. You are meant to be witnessing something important, something that will make the presence of the divine in your affairs more real to you. It will be something you can come to count on at all times, and in that gain greater peace and the realization that yes, it is safe to trust and surrender. Indeed, it is the only safe, sane, and sensible way to live. It is also the most fun way to live, and you are allowed to live this way if you so choose. It is not shirking your duty as a responsible adult. It is not deluding yourself and turning away from the real world. Rather, surrender is placing responsibility where it is best placed, firmly in the hands of that part of you wise enough to know the great beloved is wiser still, and that your life unfolds according to the great beloved's grace. So for now, take comfort in this oracle. Just for a moment, let your heart be honored and loved by you. And imagine that you can crack open a window in the dustiest chamber of your own heart temple to let the light of the divine stream in. You may see the angel reaching to assist you. You may receive the gift of understanding, insight, and revelation. You may feel peace. You may finally allow your heart to break once more, to shed those old grievances and be free and fresh to live and love again. Or you may quietly realize you are human. You are light and dark, of heaven and earth. What a perfect blend you are of all that can possibly be. You are an extraordinary, living divine experiment in the making. And you are sacred, cherished and loved by the great beloved. So do not fear your fear, but do doubt your doubt with compassion. Let it be and let it go. You are human after all, and your journey is beyond description. Just remember, if you are ever in need of the great beloved, there is a place where sacred tryst is always available to you, in the temple of your heart, with the window cracked open, so that doubt can fly out and love can breathe freely. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. You are, or soon will be, seeing with greater clarity and insight a situation that has been obscured to you in the past. You may be startled by what you perceive, so much so that you second guess yourself or chalk it up to wild imagination on your part. You are asked to trust in your perceptions, that when they come from the heart, although what you perceive may be darkness, there will be no judgment in it. See what is truthfully there. Be it the compassionate nature of your heart, and you shall also be shown the most graceful way to become clear and free of darkness, either within yourself or within others in the world around you. So place your hands on your heart and say the following aloud, or say it in your mind as I say it out loud. Hand on heart. I love you. You are strong, brave, and powerful. You are gentle, vulnerable, and inspired. You are truth. You are insight. You are wisdom. You are life. I love you, and you are safe. You are the divine made flesh. You, my precious heart, my precious connection to life, I adore you. Thank you for loving. Let us open the inner window. Let the stale emotion out and breathe in fresh life now. For you are to be well and thrive according to love's grace and wisdom. I trust in what you know and what you see. In compassion, I honor all perceptions of truth. And so it is. And so it is. It is more than okay to repeat that as many times as you want, to really drum it home that it is okay to say I love you to yourself and I trust you to yourself and your heart. To know what doesn't feel good and be like, you know what? I trust you. I trust what you're feeling is not good. That means it's not in alignment. What feels good? What idea feels good? I will hold no judgment, but I will act accordingly. Tell me how to be gentle with myself, and I will do that. and trust. And trust. Like, if you got nothing else from this reading, it is that you can love and trust your heart space, and it's okay. If others would judge you, they will figure out and learn in the process why it was so important for you to choose this for yourself, for you to choose life, because death while living is just a waste of our time here. It's just a waste of our time. You know, we've got this lifetime. We've got this lifetime once. We've got this lifetime once. So live it up. Live it up in accordance to your heart and what feels good. Let the healing take place. Let that ripple, let that beautiful healing ripple just set off like a domino and heal everybody that you come around in contact with, because you choose yourself, and you will choose yourself and what feels good for you every time in that mirror, without fail. Make that promise to yourself. Make that beautiful promise to yourself. I do not doubt that you will live your best life every time you do. Every time you do. Guys, you have my love and support always. Yeah, I'm glad we did this reading today. I am. I'm so glad. And thank you, Venus. All right. Thank you, Venus, and thank you, Jupiter, for the beautiful conjunction and this energy and what it means and what we are truly capable of birthing into the reality. Thank you, Spirit. Divine, y'all heard that? Divine confirmation. I fucking love it. Thank you, Spirit. For just, you will be so grateful for choosing to love and nurture your heart space in faith, right? Venus and Jupiter, love and faith, right there. Nurture, love, and faith. And it's the most beneficial alignment that you can put yourself in, truly. So until we next meet, guys, I will get those timestamps in the description for you so that you guys can hop back into the read whenever you'd like, whether it's the message or just the guidance in and of itself. If you want to pop forward to the guidance, you can. And I will see you all again soon. Bye, everybody.